You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from to and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and as many of you listeners will know, I'm searching for a new home for the Comedy Club for Kids, because, actually, why don't I do it this way? I'm afraid there's just too many stinky hippos in this HQ. We've got to shut it down. No, but where will I go? Ah, this lovely beach seems a great place for a home, but why are those crabs heading towards me? No! Ah, this volcano seems nice. No! Ah, this cloud seems a nice place for an HQ. No! Ah, this rubbish bin seems a nice place for a... No! Yeah, so that's what's been happening. And today, listeners, I am trying once again to find a home for Comedy Club for Kids. So I am at an estate agent's. Hi, so you're looking for a new home? I'm Greg, and I will help you find somewhere new to live. Great. Thanks, Greg. I need somewhere to record Radio Nonsense, but also keep these farting animals, this trumpet, all the stinky hippos the listeners will no doubt keep sending me, and Linda. Who's Linda? Honestly, I have no idea. Great, well, have I got the place for you? How about this 3-bed, 1-floor building with a glorious view of a tree? That's a picture of a shoe? Yes, but we've put 3 tiny beds in it, and once you've moved in, we'll throw this shoe up a tree. No, I don't really want that, thanks. How about this place? It's very spacious, only 2 beds, but it can also have a great view of a bus stop once we throw it up there. One previous old lady owner. Is that the other one from the pair of shoes? Yes it is. Ah, right, you're a hard one to please, I'll keep looking. Thanks, Greg. It's Greg, actually Thurman. Sure. While Greg looks, I have got some time to check the mailbag this week. Okay, this is from Anna's son, 11 years old, which is an odd name for someone's son, isn't it? I will name you 11 years old. I guess it works if you were 11 when you were born and then you stay 11, but that's going to be quite a tricky name at any other age. But you know what? It's original and that is nice. So they say, this is Comedy Club for Myths. You are stealing our listeners. This is outrageous. We will eat all your avocados until you give them back. I can't believe I got tricked into reading that by the fake name. Who really sent this? Zeus? The rainbow snake? A jackalope? Well, look, Comedy Club for Myths, I'm not stealing your mythical listeners, actually. Well, except for that tiny manticore who keeps me company by sitting in my pocket. Hello! Oh, I knew it. What did you say, Greg times 4? Nothing. I'm definitely looking at properties for you. Well, look, Comedy Club for Myths, it's your fault if you're losing listeners. Why don't you make interesting shows instead of boring ones about, I can turn into a dragon, or 100 ways to make people think they've spotted you in the woods. Rubbish. And there's no way you're coming anywhere near my avocados, mainly because right now, I don't have any. I've eaten them all. Now look, if you want to send anything into this show, you can, unless of course you are Comedy Club for Myths, in which case, go away. But otherwise, please do send over any jokes, thoughts or questions that you need to have answered by asking your nearest gullible chore-bacons, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Or you can leave a review for the show on one of the places that allows that, or reply on the Spotify Q&A. And if those same grown-ups fancy helping support this podcast, then they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition for a small monthly fee on patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids, or Apple Podcasts, or Acast+. And do check out our live Comedy Club for Kids shows at www.comedyclubforkids.co.uk as well. Okay, I've got a lot of perfect places for you to look at right here. Great, thanks Greg. While I do that, you all listen to this most important bit. Hooray! It is great to be joined by the Global Director of Directing Directions. Yes, back again on Radio Nonsense, it is none other than Joe Wells. Joe, how are you doing?
I am very good. Thank you for having me back.
It's a pleasure, and I know you've been very, very busy, so I appreciate you having the time to come and join us on this show.
Yeah, as you said, I'm the Director of My work's been so busy, I've forgotten my own job title. The Director of Directions.
It is a hard... You have given yourself an unnecessarily difficult title, which I assume you directed. But the Global Director of Directing Directions is that is quite a mouthful. I mean, I struggled to say it myself just then.
Global as well now. That's a new part of the title. I was doing it... I started off, I was just doing it in... do you know Pocklington?
I do know Pocklington, yes.
I was the director of directions in Pocklington, and then I worked up to the whole of England. Then I did a brief stint in Slovakia, and then Europe, and now global.
That's quite impressive. I mean, I do remember there was a lot of press about it at the time about how well directed all the directions were in Pocklington, and people really knew where they were going. I remember that, people really saying, as soon as I leave my front door, I know where I got to be.
Yeah. People didn't like it, actually. People felt like there was no... Part of life's joy is the journey, isn't it? And
Sure.
The directions were so good that people more or less walked outside of their house and then they were at their destination. And I think that people didn't like it. People like a little bit of getting lost or finding their own way to things.
But you did, and I think that was part of the problem, actually, if I remember. Maybe I've got this wrong. You can correct me. But you did put up various signs to help people get lost, but then a lot of people thought it was rude that there were signs saying "get lost."
Yes, yeah, that was part of the problem. And also there were already the other signs telling people the correct directions. More sign than town was the headline.
Right.
If you go there now, it's still mainly sign. There's not any... Really, in a town, you want shops and a school and houses. I had all of those bulldozed. If you go to Pocklington now, it's just flat, and then there's signs to public services which no longer exist.
Wow. But now what you have got instead is you've got lots of tourists who go to see the place of signs.
Signland.
And they love walking around, exactly, yeah. And, that's a really popular destination. I think the residents of Pocklington must be very happy now that so many people come to visit.
People said that we couldn't compete with Disneyland in the UK, but we've got Signland.
That's true, actually. That's true. And I mean, does Disneyland... I'm not really aware. Does Disneyland have signs? Are they trying to have a sign area?
It does, but they're not as... They're all... If you go to Disneyland, they'll all be quite sort of... they're themed, aren't they? So there'd be like the pirate ladder, there's pirate-themed signs, or there's... You go into the space area and they're all done in like you're on a spaceship. None of that in Pocklington. They're all standardised road signs to make them clear. So it's all...
Right.
Because what I don't like about a theme park is you go there and there's lots of different things to see.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what the public want. I think they want the same thing, but lots of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is what people want. And also, I mean, again, these are just rumours at the moment, but I think that's why Disney Pixar are trying to make a film called Signs, where each of the signs talk, and it's a big drama, isn't it, about a group of signs, and one of the signs... Well,
because there has been a film called Signs, hasn't there? But
yes,
I think didn't deliver on what I want. It was all aliens and scary and spooky, and had a proper story to it. And that's not what I want from a film called Signs. I want exclusively road signs to defunct locations in Pocklington.
Yes, yeah, no, and I agree, and I do also find it very impressive because you started in Pocklington, and obviously you made your journey through England, the Europe, and Slovakia, but you still have insisted on putting signs to Pocklington wherever you are, and I think you've
very
really put
confusing for the
Pocklington on
people
the
of
map.
Slovakia.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure it was, but it has put Pocklington on the map.
The problem is it has put exclusively Pocklington on the map because I've been producing maps that only have Pocklington on,
right,
and selling them in Slovakia. They don't if they want to get to a northern town in England, they can get there. But if they want to get to their local shop, it's not on the map.
Yes, but
No, I was criticised for that, but I think a lot of great thinkers were criticised in their time, weren't they?
Yes.
Galileo said that the world revolves around the sun, and he was laughed at for it, and I was laughed at saying that the world revolves around Pocklington. But I think that history will prove me right.
Yes, I think it's just a matter of time before everyone knows that you had it right all along. I mean, and I think the fact that you've been promoted to Global Director of Directing Directions proves that, because if you hadn't done a good job, they'd have just left you in Pocklington, right?
The people in the sign industry, the sign world, the people that know their stuff, they know that I'm good. But the general public, they don't necessarily have the sign and directional knowledge that I have. But the people in the know that I'm good.
Yeah, and the people in the know things. I mean, that's what they're there for. I think that's what people often say about them, isn't it? Who knows?
That's how they know things. They're in the know.
Yeah. They're in the know.
It seeps into them through osmosis.
Yes, exactly.
They're in a big bucket of know, and then that's how you know things. Is you just... that's what they do. I haven't been to... It was a long time since I was at school, but I believe that's what they did at my school. They used to have a big bucket of know, and they dunk you in it, and then you all the maths and English and science, that would seep into you, and then that's how you come out with some good GCSEs.
That's exactly how schools used to work. You get dumped in the bucket, then you get scrubbed off at the end, and then you go home full of no. And it was always obviously they had to be careful to put you in no spelt KNOW, not no spelt NO, because that was a different bucket that just caused you to be very negative.
Very negative,
very negative. Yeah.
Did you get a lot of homework? We'd have a little pot of no that we just had to use at home.
Yes, you had to smear it around your face.
Cream.
And you put it on before bed, let it sink in. You wake up in the morning, you think, I know how to make a sandwich now. And, or I don't know, 1066. It'll be different depending on the week and the subject. I think it got particularly complicated in secondary school where you had or high school for American listeners. You get so many different subjects and you had to put several pots of no slime on your face.
And you don't want to get those mixed up.
No.
And the scientific formula for Napoleon.
Right, yeah.
We'll just mix this up.
Yes. Napoleon did have a scientific formula, didn't he? I'm sure that was something that's been discovered.
I think you've been mixing up your no pots.
Are you sure? I thought that if you put certain chemical elements together, you get Napoleon.
In a little petri dish.
Yeah, it causes a chemical reaction, and there's Napoleon, a French, a French leader. Isn't that what happens?
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, no. Now I remember. Actually, that is correct. It sort of takes over all the other little petri dishes, doesn't it? It's very infectious.
Yes. You have to get rid of it pretty quickly. Actually, you have to use the chemical elements to create a Nelson, and then I think that takes care of it.
Yes, yeah. It's like if you spill red wine, you put white wine on it. If you spill Napoleon, then you put Nelson on it.
Yes, that's exactly. I mean, I hope I haven't muddled up my knowledge. Yeah. And this is very confusing. Why do they call it no, but then they call it knowledge? I didn't learn that.
They should have put that in a little pot.
Yeah, I feel like we've been ripped off. We should be calling it knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm starting to question if everything we learnt was wrong, Joe.
I've listened to this podcast before, and there's a lot of talking nonsense, and this has finally stumped us.
It's really, because it doesn't make, because when the word knowledge has got the word no in there, and you never say I've got null, I've got no.
You say knowing.
Knowing, yeah. Knowledge.
You say
I'm in the know.
acknowledgement.
Yeah. I know things. I know things. Maybe that's how we should be saying it. I know things.
Yes, yeah.
I'm clever. I know things.
Yeah.
I've got knowledge. Yeah. Wow, this has blown my mind, I have to say. I didn't expect
yes,
us to
I am
this.
Global Director of Directions in answer to your question.
Yes, thank you for, and I'm pleased we've escaped that circle of madness that was trying to understand that word. Thank you. Yes, you are, and congratulations on the promotion, on the recent promotion. Do you have a nice office?
I do have a nice office, and obviously I get the hat.
Yes, you do. You do. It's a resplendent and lovely hat. Is it comfortable?
Thank you very much. It is comfortable, yes. Although I have to wear it at all times. That's the only problem. So it's quite comfortable in the day, but then at night, the spikes come out on the inside.
Right.
That is uncomfortable.
Right, and that's so it sticks to your head when you sleep, right?
Yeah.
It does feel really unnecessary. They do. I mean, I know that you might have to. The people might want to know what your job position is while you're asleep, I guess.
Well, it's an important job, and that I am. I don't want. It's crass to talk about money, isn't it? But
yes.
Yeah, I am paid every year £100.
Wow.
Yeah, 100
wow.
English pounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's good. I should just for the listeners out there in different countries, I think that's about 7 billion yen, or about 4 potatoes. I think. I'm not sure the exact currency exchange.
£100.
Wow.
Every year. That's not forever. Every year at Christmas, it comes in as wrapped up for me, and I get £100. Yeah,
it's worth it. I mean, so the spikes in the hat are worth that, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'd do it for. Don't tell anyone, but I do it for 50.
Whoa! Don't say
price.
that out. You shouldn't say that out on a recorded podcast, because I worry, they'll listen in and they'll cut your fee.
No, but yeah, £100. So I can. I'm
pretty
probably
well for
the richest
yourself.
man in the world. Yeah.
I mean, I think you deserve it, and I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased that it's going so well for you. So
Thank you very much.
It's lovely. I'm glad you could come back here when you've got all these signs to put up, when you've got to show people the way to Pocklington. I really appreciate that you have time to come on this podcast and help answer a question that I know you are the man that can do it. So
thank you very much. It's an honour to be here.
Well, I do have to ask you, Joe, and I know you don't mind because you've done it before, but I do have 2 admin questions I have to ask you, which you have answered sort of before. It's just a necessity, as you know, Radio Nonsense admin. It's what we have to do before we get to the main event. And the first of these is one that you have asked before, and it has been brought back by popular demand, and by that I mean 3 people who have asked very nicely. But they... I have to check that this show, as you know, is for people of all ages, Middle Ages, Bronze Ages, Ice Ages, all the way to...
They always say that, don't they? They always say popular demand. That's not any way to get things you want. It should be by popular asking nicely.
Yes, that's true, actually. Yes, you shouldn't demand...
It's such a bad example when you'll see like a theatre show and it say extra dates by popular demand. No.
Yeah.
I want a theatre show to say, we had popular demand... but we're not caving to that. Ask nicely, and then maybe we'll do some more.
That would be much nicer, actually. Yes, because I assume that there are just lots of people outside screaming, "Give us more of this show!" And actually, they should be saying, "Please, can we see it again?" Yeah,
exactly. Not any way to talk to a theatre.
Yes. Well, I'm pleased to say this question has been brought back by popular asking nicely. Like nobody has rudely asked for this question to return because the listeners to this show are. They're nice, every single one of them. Actually, every single one of them. So, yeah.
Wow.
It's not a single one
even Brian.
Okay, maybe not Brian.
Horrible.
But he's nice in his heart. He wants to be nice. He struggles.
I bet he was one of the demanders.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's a lot of people say mean things about Brian, but he tries. He tries to be nice. When he goes around and scowls at puppies. He thinks it's a way of being nice to puppies. He doesn't understand. It scares them. You know?
I don't agree. Horrible boy. Just turn this off,
Right.
Brian.
Turn it off, Brian, if you're listening, please. And Joe has requested you turn it off, and we're actually going to demand it, actually. I'm not even going to ask nicely. So
We are demanding.
Turn it off, Brian. Turn it off, Brian. Wow, I can't believe you've made Brian leave, but that's fair. That's fair. I'm grateful you're on the podcast. I'll accept your demands, Joe. That's
Thank you.
That's fair. Yeah. Well, listen, everyone except Brian asked for this very nicely. So,
Okay.
as I said, it shows for people of all ages. I just need to check if there are any rude words you won't be saying.
I will obviously not be saying the word abacus.
Oh,
Because I know. Well, when I was at school, there was a boy who said abacus,
right.
and at school there were two types of detention. There was a lunchtime detention, where you had to stay in at lunch, and there was after school detention, where you had to stay after school. The boy that I went to school with, he said abacus. They invented a new kind of detention, lifetime detention.
Wow. And he's still there now. He's
37
now.
years old. He hasn't been able to go home and get changed, so none of his clothes fit. And do you know what he said? He said it again on the way out. So he's got double lifetime detention. So even if he becomes a zombie, still zombie in detention.
That's awful because technically zombies are unliving, but he'd still have to go through a life. This is awful. He'd have to be reincarnated. Technically, as a zombie, they should let him be out and about because he's undead. But then if he gets reincarnated, then he'd have to go back in.
Yes, that's probably true. You say it's awful, but remember he did say abacus, so I think they didn't go hard enough.
You're right. There's a really horrendous word, and I think anyone that says it should definitely be sentenced to probably the worst thing that you can possibly endure. Yes, hanging out with Brian for an afternoon or something. Yeah, it'd be really.
Yes.
That's. I mean, Joe, I don't want to threaten you because you're the guest, but if you were to say it, I think I would have to make you hang out with Brian for an afternoon.
Do you know what? And that would be, if anything, that would be a punishment for Brian.
Yes,
that's how bad that
right.
was.
I see. Yes, that is wow. That is awful. Well, listen, thank you for not saying abacus, and I would certainly never say abacus on this show because I'm not a villain. So thank you for that. Yes. Wow. Listen, next admin question I have to ask you, and this is quite serious. May require some thought. You're welcome to sit and think about it for a minute if you need. But Joe, would you rather that every pair of shoes you bought turned into super fast roller skates with no brakes, or every pair of pants you bought had rocket boosters in them that you couldn't turn off?
Oh.
Yeah.
Big. Which way are the rocket boosters facing?
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, it doesn't state, so I would have thought out, so it looks like you're doing such massive, dangerous, on-fire farts that you're flying through the air. But you're right, it could be in, and that would burn your bum.
Just burning your bum, yeah.
Yeah, that would be really, really bad design. And I mean, I suppose if you put them on the wrong way round, if you put them on inside out, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. Because sometimes you can do that if you're... If you don't want to do any washing, you just turn your underpants inside out, but not with rocket underpants.
I should say that's the same. Any listeners, if you don't want to have a shower or a bath, if you turn yourself inside out, then you can go for another week. Yeah, another week.
Yep, having a bath, absolutely. Just from the belly button, just turn yourself inside out.
That's right. That's how it works.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, it's a classic move. Good little life hack there. Absolutely. Yeah.
So every pair of shoes I wear.
Yeah,
we're talking shoes. I can't find a loophole where I go, oh, actually, these are sandals. This is all footwear. I'm guessing
it says every. You're right. It does say every pair of shoes.
I think I found a loophole.
Maybe you found a loophole where you just wear sandals or flip flops or snowshoes or scuba diving.
Snowshoes are shoes.
Oh, they are shoes. You're right. Yes. Flippers.
Clogs. Flippers.
Yeah. A trainer's
grippy
shoes.
Socks.
You might be right with trainers, yeah.
I don't know. It used to be a thing. I don't think it's a thing anymore. But where if you went to like a discotheque in the evening, if you were wearing trainers, you weren't allowed in, and that could be how they would tell. Is they'd go, well, if your shoes turn into super fast rollerblades, then you're allowed in to the club.
That club would be really dangerous, though, because everybody in the club would be on super fast roller skates, zapping around to disco music, and I feel like that's going to cause injuries.
And you can only play very, very fast music as well, wouldn't you? So it would be an intense experience. Maybe people would stop going to discotheques. They'd go to, is it a velodrome? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
You know, where cyclists go, and they have got like a track. You could go there, bring your shoe. You'd have to bring your shoes separately, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be able to walk there.
That's clever. Yes.
Go in flip flops, change into your smart shoes.
Yes.
And then round around the velodrome.
That's very smart.
That's what the young people are doing.
That is very smart. I mean, and that is. I mean, it's a healthy activity. I think probably there's some jeopardy to it, but you know why? There's jeopardy to dancing. You pull the wrong move and your bum falls off. So you know, whatever they do, it's going to be difficult.
Life is kids these days are wrapped in cotton wool, and they're not given super fast roller skates. Shoes that are very dangerous to use, and that's the problem with kids these days. They're not put in enough danger.
Yes, you're right.
And they're not given rocket underpants.
Yes, and the cotton wool makes them look like sheep, and then everyone thinks it's a sheep. It's not a sheep; it's a child. And then they have to live on a farm. I mean, it's endless problems, really. Actually,
and they go, we can't put the rocket underpants on them; it will set the cotton wool on fire. Yeah, don't have the cotton wool in the first place.
Exactly. So I mean, it needs someone like you, Joe, with your directing skills, really, to come in and fix these sorts of global issues. But I suppose for you, then, now that you found a loophole, is your choice the shoes, or do you think you'd still go for the pants?
Do the pants make like a farting noise when they go?
I mean, maybe they could. I don't know. Again, I've not been given any specific details, so maybe.
I think because I would like that. I'm asking because that's what I'd want. I'd want them to. It would look like I was doing big farts. I think that would be great.
Yes.
So if we can have some sort of fart noise installed, I can rig that up. I've got some tech skills.
Nice.
I can rig up a little, or I just blow raspberries while I'm doing it. I'm going to go for that.
Sounds lovely. Well, and I think you made a very sensible choice there. And, you know, if you ever need a day off, you can just wear shorts instead of pants or something, and then I'm sure you won't have to fly around. It's got to be a sensible way. Yes, very sensible. Thank you, Joe. I knew you'd not find that so difficult. There's other people I think would crumble under that question, and you just faced it head on.
I'm used to questions like this all the time.
Of course you are. You're a professional, and I appreciate that. Listen, this is the question we asked you here for, though. This is big. This is from Charlie, age 11, who, before the question, does say, I love listening to your show before I go to bed. Thank you. So that's very nice. So don't let the bed bugs bite, Charlie. They're massive in Australia, I believe, aren't they? Bed bugs.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
I think they're like really big.
They've got those big snapping jaws, haven't they?
Jaws, green, they're huge. So Charlie is in Australia. Just Charlie, if you're listening to this before bed, be careful of the bed bugs. They are huge. They are really big. They will eat your legs. So just be careful. Yeah. But Charlie very sensibly asks, and this is a good question, this actually, something I'd not thought about until Charlie sent it in. Charlie asks, Joe, is there a mole specsavers?
Well, not that I've seen, but you'd imagine there would be, because moles do most of their looking with their noses, don't they? So,
right, is that right?
I guess.
How do they do that? Don't they always?
Well, that's
smart?
how. Yeah, but they can. No, I think they've got good. They use they've always got decongestions. They've always got nasal spray on them.
Okay,
that's their version of eye drops is nasal spray.
I see.
So mole specsavers is just little monocles for the end of their noses.
Right, I see. But there must be. I mean, so they wear little monocles on the end of their noses. How do they smell?
Out of their eyes.
Right. And I'm really pleased. I was worried then you were going to say terrible, and then we'd get in trouble with the mole commission. And well, that's it. I knew you were, but I get worried because this show is for everyone, and I would worry that we'd get the mole commission up against us for saying that all moles smell, and they don't, you know.
No, 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 no. Some of them do.
Yeah, of course, of course. There's always a
Some of
stinky
all
mole
animals
somewhere,
smell,
yeah.
but it's always the stinky moles are the ones that get all the publicity, aren't they? People,
Yes, they
you know,
are.
you read
Yes.
like when you get the newspaper, it will say more stinky moles. All moles are. You read about the stinky
Yes.
ones,
Yeah.
but you don't read about the nice smelling ones.
That's true. Some very fragrant moles out there, and you know, all power to them, I say. But they smell through their eyes, and they see through their noses. Do they use their ears for anything, or?
I think they hear out their bums and then
Right,
breathe out their
okay.
ears. That's how
Right,
they work.
right. So if they had rocket-powered pants, they wouldn't hear a thing because the noise would be too much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, that's why you can't get them for moles.
Right, right. Does make sense. Yes, does make absolute sense. Right. So they hear. So they see out of their noses, which I that makes right. And then a mole specsavers would provide monocles for the noses, but are there then? There must be shops. There must be outlets they have to go to where they try on the right monocles for their nostrils.
Yeah, yeah, you'd have like a little board on the wall, give it a little sniff, and you say what letters are on the wall. And then
Right,
if you
right.
can't get enough letters, you can't smell enough letters,
Yeah.
then you get a little monocle on the end.
Right. That's lovely. And can they get them in different styles and designs and stuff?
Oh yeah, and do you know what? There's some sort of like trendy moles, even if they don't need a nose monocle, they have one like a big wide frame nose monocle to look sort of like
Right,
you know a
right.
little bit intellectual. Like, hey, I'm a sort of intellectual mole. I read all these clever mole books, and
Yes.
yeah, so it's a fashion thing as well.
Right. I see. I see. Well, it's quite a big deal in the mole world then, these kind of well, I guess they're not they wouldn't be called specs, would they be called mono molos, molo monocles? Oh, it feels like there's a mouthful of a name that could happen there.
Because
Yeah.
spec doesn't mean two, does it?
No, I thought the spec
Spectacles,
was like because of
monocles.
spectacles, but it could
What does
mean
spec mean? A spec is like a tiny thing. So spectacles is
yes.
that you can see tiny things with them.
Right.
Monocles help you to see one thing at a time.
Yes, I think so. I think that's how it
I
works.
think
And
that
then
makes sense.
Specsavers is because it helps you save tiny things because you can now see them, whereas before you were accidentally treading on them or you were,
You're going,
yeah, you're
where's that bit of dirt,
inhaling them.
tiny grain
Yeah,
of dust that I left?
yeah,
And when you got the spectacles, you couldn't find them.
yes, yes. So you're now a Specsaver, and I think that's exactly what the exactly. There's billions of bits of dust now being saved by people who've been to Specsavers. I think
Yeah, they're an incredible. I think they're a charity Specsavers, aren't they? Because of
they
the
must
charitable
be,
work they do. And
must be. Yeah.
you know, really, they're heroes.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think that's and I like to think that is happening for moles too. I hope they have got that service and that kind of care and love from what would you call them? Mono mole. I suppose that molecules savers. Would they save
Mono,
molecules?
molecules.
Molecule.
Mono. I think a lot of them just wear contacts.
Right, right. I see. Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Just a little
yeah.
contact on the end of the nose.
Because I'd also assume moles are smaller than us, so they can see even smaller things with their noses than we can when we get glasses.
Yeah, yeah. And they can taste. All their senses are swapped. That's the thing that people.
Right,
So
right,
it's obviously
right.
the nose sees, and the eyes smell, and
And the bum
then the
hears.
bum
Yeah.
hears is put. It's the six senses, aren't they? Is touch, taste, smell,
Yes.
seeing, hearing,
Yes.
pooing.
That's
And so
correct.
the other
Yes. That's, yes.
the hands and the tongue is the other way around as well. So if you want to
Oh
shake a mole's
no.
hand,
Right.
they stick their tongue out and you shake their hand.
Right. Right. That's awful. And I suppose something that I'm worried about asking, but we've previously said they hear through their bum. Do they poo out of their ears?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
If you go
Right.
to a
Right.
mole's house, you go to the bathroom, two little toilets like headphones.
Right. Right. I see.
That's what
I
they use.
see.
Yeah.
That's I can't work out if that's awful or more convenient.
Have you ever been to a mole's house?
Do you know what? I haven't. I've not been invited, and it's also I don't particularly like sort
You've
of
got to be
small.
invited. You've got to be
Yeah,
invited.
I
trying to
don't
show
like
up.
small dark spaces. I don't really want to go underground to visit one. I think I'd find that quite uncomfortable.
So that's good. I mean, they don't come to us, do they? I think we
No.
just we leave each other be, and
Yes.
there's a healthy respect between the humans and the moles.
Yes. Apart from our press coverage of stinky moles, but yes, other than that, we're generally.
That's
quite
why the
happy
press
with
coverage
it.
makes me angry. I think we've got a good relationship with the moles. They live underground, we live overground.
Yeah.
Never the twain shall meet. And then you
Yes.
get all the press saying they're stinky. They're not stinky. They just live underground.
Yeah, I think it comes from people who own golf courses and see molehills, and it ruins the golf course. And what they don't understand is they're hitting small balls at mole homes. So it was the mole's turf first. I didn't see any of these golfers living underground before they wanted to play golf. So it's the mole's turf.
Well, that is where you're wrong. I mean, the golfers do live underground, so I can see the conflict there.
Oh, I see.
You never meet when you're overground. You would be driving around, and you'll see golfers on a golf course, but you never ever meet a golfer in real life, do you? You never at the bus stop, and there's a golfer at the bus stop. Why is that? It's because they live underground.
My gosh, I didn't know that, Joe. I had assumed that because they wear the sort of tartan that they camouflaged into the background.
No. That's a common mistake. That they live underground.
Good, Joe. The things we have learnt with you being on the show today, I really appreciate this, and I mean,
It's a pleasure to come on.
yeah, you've answered Charlie's question so quickly, so succinctly. I really hope Charlie is happy with that answer. He's in Australia, so obviously he'll have to wait 24 hours to get the answer. Because
and it'll come out upside down as well when he hears it.
Yes. So
But
he'll
just
have to stand on his
whatever
head,
you're
yeah.
listening to this on, whether it's on a laptop or a parent's phone, turn it upside down.
Yes,
and you'll understand it.
Very sensible, very sensible. Listen, Joe, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. And have you got much going on in the next 2.5 to 3.7 months?
There's some more signs going up in Pocklington.
Great.
You can go and see there. There's
Great.
one that says the Pocklington Town Centre.
Lovely.
And there's one which says Pocklington Library, and then in brackets it says now just another sign.
Right, lovely. Beautiful.
We've got other signs in the way. I can't give any. I don't want to give spoilers away.
Sure,
You'll have to come to Pocklington.
Well, no, and I think with your signs, everyone will know how to get there. So, thank you very much for that. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you back again very soon.
See you soon.
Big thanks to Joe Wells for taking time out of showing people the way to Pocklington just so that he could answer Charlie's question. Charlie, I do hope you liked your answer, and if not, why not give it to a mole who doesn't have any molecules for them to look at, and then I'll never have to read it. If you have a question you need to have answered, or you want to send in anything else at all, please get your nearest gullible grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And if they would like to support this show, they can pay a small monthly fee at our Patreon, Apple Podcasts, or Acast Plus for the advert-free Linda edition. Right, Greg, what have you got for me? How about this place? 1 bedroom, small but cosy woodland apartment. Ooh, woodland apartment. Hang on, that's a toadstool. I don't want to live in a toadstool. Oh, right, how about this? Very, very spacious, bit dark, except for all the shining treasure, and you'd have to flat share with this guy, but he's really very nice. Is that a dragon? Yeah, but he's really very nice. Hang on, Greg. A shoe? A toadstool? A cave with a dragon in it? It was 2 shoes, actually. Yeah, true, 2 shoes. But these are all places that mythical creatures and characters live. Are you really an estate agent? Or are you working for the Comedy Club for Myths? Oh no, I've been discovered. What? Wow, he was actually a sort of hawk person. How weird. Ah well, at least I can sit in this nice office for a while as I work out what to do next. It's actually a swamp. Oh, come on. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.